Hello and welcome to Tikkun's first patient conversation in this video format. My name is Sabrina Soto Sugar and I'm the marketing coordinator here at Tikkun.
My name is Asa. I'm the head of R&D at Tikkun.
And we're here to introduce Nikki Lawley, a cannabis patient and advocate with a really compelling story to tell, which we will let her tell more on. Nikki, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't we get started and dive in? Can you introduce yourself and give us some background on your accident, your condition, and how this initially changed your quality of life?
Sure. Thanks so much for having me, you guys. Happy to share my experience because I think it's really important that we all share our stories, that different people can relate to different stories. And so some people might find my story like really hits home with them, but others may not. So I was working as a pediatric nurse, and a child didn't want a vaccine. Pretty normal experience in a pediatric routine care kind of setting. So just like any other time, I went in to assist another coworker, and the child was pretty combative. But again, not my first rodeo, didn't think anything of it. And all of a sudden, I'm behind the child, trying to restrain him. And he ended up tucking his chin, headbutting me frontally. And then I bounced into a wall and back into his head. So it was at the time, it happened so quick, and you don't really think anything is going to be different than any other day. But immediately there was like left arm numbness, tingling, kind of deadness. And I was really dazed and really off. I mean, it felt like I just got tackled by, a 700-pound person full force. Um, and story, the child got the vaccine, and I went off to grab lunch, and I came back. I wolfed down my food and immediately got sick. And the doctor on call that day was, he's like, "You've got a concussion. You need to go to urgent care." And I had concussions before. I had, knocked myself out on a desk once, and, a few little mishaps like that. But this didn't feel like a concussion. This felt like something like was wrong. um, but yet it's invisible, right? It's not like I had a broken arm or bone sticking out that you could see something was wrong. But when you talk to me, kind of, we're pretty quick to realize there's something wrong. It's truly unique to go from being the medical provider, support staff, nurse, to now being totally a patient. Um, you're treated different. I can't explain that. I went from having credibility and respect with doctors, with, big time doctors. And now all of a sudden, now I'm a patient that has this symptom of excruciating head pain and neck pain and can't function and can't, depression was setting in, anxiety was setting in. And they basically told me I shouldn't still be having symptoms from a blow to the head 2 weeks earlier or 6 months earlier, however long the different doctors I saw. They just kept saying, yeah, no, that's really not it. I'm like, well, what about post-concussion syndrome? I mean, I've heard of this. And again, I'm a medical professional. So I feel like this should have been trained to me a little bit more. I mean, I didn't have a head injury of this degree until this happened to me. And I didn't know what chronic illness was, what chronic pain was. Basically, I found cannabis by accident, only after being on over 50 different medications over an 18-month period, going to over 50 physicians in different states, countries, really seeking answers because my mind was not working the way it always had been. So that's kind of how it happened and how I came to cannabis, if you will.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's an amazing story. I mean, just heartbreaking, honestly. So what was your first perception of cannabis? Prior to trying it for the first time?
Sure. So I had used cannabis for the first time. I think I was 26 years old. I naturally had never even considered it for this head pain and chronic pain and all the other magnitude of symptoms, from cognition to just basic skills. And then I was contemplating my death actually in 2017. I was in Las Vegas. My husband tried to cheer me up and be the good guy, and you know, let me just do something and make you smile. There's got to be a way. This just can't be as bad as it is. All these doctors say there's nothing wrong with you, and it was a really dark time. And I was looking over the balcony at the hotel, and I see a billboard going by. Get your medical cannabis, or actually it was medical marijuana card in Nevada today. And I'm like, yeah, right. Okay, let's go smoke some weed. That'll work. And then it came by a second time. And it was just it really stood out. I can't explain it. It was like just this aha moment, right? Like, well, we did help your headache when you had Lyme disease. Maybe it'll work again. So why not like maybe explore this? So my husband came back into the hotel room and I mentioned it to him and he's like, let's go. And I was like, really? It was a really eye-opening experience. That day I found my first cannabis dispensary. Wow. Can I just say what an experience that was? It was literally, it felt so overwhelming. It felt like going into the back of the pharmacy where they keep all the pills and stuff, and going back in there and told, just figure this out, and I mean, like, what was cool was the bud tender was very patient, very understanding. He might have been like 21, and here's this 46-year-old woman, pouring her soul and guts out to him, but he heard it all and he was very kind, and he recommended like everything. I mean, I tried gummies, I tried tinctures, I tried sprays, I tried gum, I tried you name it. I mean, I think I left there with like the max you could possibly buy in a day in Nevada. And my husband's like, what took so long? Oh my God, you were in there forever. But I got educated. I mean, I didn't get educated to the point I am now, but I actually was given baby steps to be able to approach this journey. It got me off the ledge, literally and figuratively. And that's the message. If I share anything else, is you have nothing to lose if you're in that dark space. Try it. It won't push you the wrong way. It will at least maybe allow you to think of something else.
Can you, going into that a bit more, tell us a bit about your experience finding the strains that worked for you and figuring out what products helped with your symptoms?
Sure. So living in New York, I'm very close to the Canadian border. As a result, Canada had a recreational program. So being so close, when I say close, I'm talking 15 minutes total over the border, real close. So it's just like going to another state with the exception of Border Patrol. And I actually have a storage unit in Canada that holds my medical cannabis for when I go to Canada. Pre-COVID, living in New York, we don't have access to flower. So yes, everyone has access to flower from illicit means. However, in our New York State medical program, we do not have access to full plant flower medicine. So I actually learned all about cannabis in Canada because I could sample so many different cultivars. I could sample and smell and learn what it means, because I had a brain injury. Okay. So I still do, but learning or trying to pick up a book and read and retain is virtually impossible with brain injury. So I struggled so much. I mean, to hear I have an endocannabinoid system, hello, I'm a nurse, that's bullshit, is what my initial feel was. It was like, absolutely not. That is not right. And so then I kept trying to find someone, not to argue with me on it, but explain to me how I went through nursing school, how I'm a smart human, and I have never heard of an ECS system. And then I learned about it, and then it sunk, and then it made sense why this plant can actually transform lives. It is medicine. And learning different smells meant this is a terpene, different flavors meant this is a flavonoid, and just trying to understand which ones worked and which ones didn't. In Vegas, I happened to find in a subsequent trip a cultivar called ADub. And ADub has this beautiful mix of whatever in it. It's like a magic potion. And so every strain has been compared to this ADub. ADub is like my prize. Okay. And so every strain has to get compared to, because that's the strain that made me focus the most and function. And it's like the sweet spot that we're all looking for. But I'm in New York and it's in Nevada. I can't get my sweet spot in New York again. Honestly, I found smoking the plant works by far the best for me. It's easy on and easy out. So it's quick onset, but it's out of your system. So if you're having an adverse reaction or it's not the strain for you, it's out of your system within 3 hours. It's not like an edible that you could go on a magic carpet ride for God knows how long if that's not your strain for real.
That's awesome, Nikki, and just such great information. I mean, it's like such a pleasure to talk to you. One question I do have is, what's your advice for somebody trying a new product for the first time, and like, how do you think they should go about exploring the whole world of, the wide array of different offerings that are out on the market these days?
So Cannabis Buddy would be number one. Number two, if you're astute, I would highly recommend following, reputable brands, those that are in multiple states, those that have a following that's real. Don't go just Google THC or CBD. Go to somewhere that has an established brand, such as Tycoon Alam's website, such as the Medical Cannabis Primer is a great source that I've learned so much information from. Ruth Fisher has the medicalcannabisprimer.com. That's an amazing source of information. So that's just two off the top of my head. So, I mean, there's millions more, but
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you for your answers. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and answer all the questions we had for you today.
Absolutely. Invite me back anytime. And, any way I can help you guys market, I'm happy to. You do an outstanding job with everything.
Thanks, Nikki.
Thanks, Nikki.